you like Hollywood? I mean, do you like that whole scene now?
No.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like the scene in Hollywood. Do you?
For Australians to believe that there are high schools there that have undercover cops to try and handle problems.
Yeah, there are. There are plenty. It's a lot different in Australia than in the United States. The United States is drugs and violence are rampant there. It's incredible. There was actually a high school in Texas that an undercover officer was killed.
What, discovered by the students?
Yeah, he was discovered by the drug dealers, and his nickname was 21 Jump Street.
What sort of a student were you?
Not a real good one. Not the best student around. Yeah, I wasn't a good student.
So you look back at...
Oh, here's my wife.
Here you are, Mr. Deep. There's your cup of tea. And there's your plan. I've got a fair idea what he's going to do with this, ladies. You know what I mean. Goodness gracious me, there's your plan.
Oh, thank you.
And I just want to show you something. Have a look at... Take this jacket off, young man. Go on, get it off. Just have a look at this, will you? Take your jacket off. Look at this, ladies. Look.
Sorry.
That's the sort of thing, you think you can come in? Look after this for you. There you go.
Okay.
Take that off. Clean yourself up. There you go. Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you...
Yes?
You don't realise here, despite the young ladies who are present, that you are regarded now as the hottest, and I know people say that about everyone.
Hide the microphone, sorry.
Sorry about that, we'll get rid of that, and we'll sack Val.
Take this home with me, it's kind of a present, isn't it? Yeah. It's very weighty.
Would you please thank Johnny Depp for us?
Hey, Mark. Yeah, Leslie, I'm fixing my armadillo chest here. Hi, kitties. All right. Well, Lizzie, fixing my props. Okay. And action. Hey! Drop that bird, you're a dead man.
No problem. Here, watch yourself.
Thanks again for having us, Mrs. Hanson.
My pleasure.
Well, if you're going to get out of the Jersey salon, I'm very disappointed.
There.
You okay over there, Chief?
Not really.
Why don't we hand this over to an expert?
Good idea.
With Mrs. Hanson's permission.
Sir, look.
What's the word that you would describe to going back to 21 Jump Street?
In one word, job, contract, responsibility.
But it's been good for you.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. How would I say it's been good to me? Well, I mean, it put me on the map. Well, not necessarily the sex symbol teen idol stuff. That's not my goal, you know. I mean, if it happens in the interim, that's fine. It's nice. I'm glad people see me that way. I don't really see myself that way, but I'm happy in the way to put me on the map if people got something from it, you know. I don't want to just be sort of a jester and, like, you know, throw chicken heads at people and have them be entertained, you know. Well, being recognizable is part of the territory, you know, it just comes with it. When you start out, you know, and you're an actor and you start doing things and stuff, you're not doing it because you want to be anonymous, right?
No, I understand that. But
it's just something you have to deal with. You know, whether it's pleasant at times or unpleasant at times, it's just something that comes along with it. You gotta.
But it's good for
It's part of your job,
right? I mean, sexy.
I don't necessarily say, well, I gotta feed my ego today, so I'm gonna run down the street and see if people recognize me. That's not. There's a lot of things that, you know, feed the ego. But you know what's real weird about that, with the sort of, like how the media thing gets sort of stretched out into this really absurd kind of surreal thing is, you know, like I said, you know, you're an actor and you're trying to do your job. You know, there's a ton of them out there who are trying to just kind of do their job, get by and do the best they can, make some money, whatever. And then suddenly you reach a certain level in your career and this sort of wheel starts spinning about your past and your future and your present and who were you with last night and what club and this and like, you know, how many people you've, you know, quite possibly bumped uglies with or something, you know, it's like suddenly this thing starts happening. It's not about the work anymore. It's not about films. It's not about, you know, it becomes this kind of showboat thing. This sort of society of ambulance chasers who are fascinated with, you know, your personal life, or, you know, like what's inside your brain and things like that. And to me, that's really frightening, because I mean, there's only a couple of actors that I can think of that I would be fascinated to find out what their thoughts are. Marlon Brando's one of them. I mean, he's obviously like he's an amazing actor, and he's possibly the greatest. But what fascinates me about Marlon Brando is his brain and his thoughts. You know, but I mean, to become fascinated with the personal life or the thoughts and opinions of a person who pretends for a living, who lies for money, is beyond me.
So what do you do then? How do you deal with all this stuff?
Lay low. Just kind of lay low. I don't, you know, I'm not a real function-oriented person. I don't do well at functions, or, you know, like the Hollywood party scene. I just kind of I don't go there so much. I just kind of stay home, you know, or wander a bit.
Appears a little bit like a mystery and an extraterrestrial in the life of Betty and June. Then how to prepare or to create such a character when we don't know the past, we don't know really the history of the character?
Oh, How? Good question. How? I don't know, you know, for me, Sam was a guy who had difficulty dealing with people on a normal, or on what is perceived as a normal level. And his way of dealing was to escape into sort of the world of Buster Keaton and the world of Chaplin. Probably one of those kids who had severe learning disability, who withdrew himself from society and kind of just made up his own rules, you know.
There is, of course, a physical work for these sketches, these clown attitudes. Then how did you work on that?
On the physical stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I hurt myself. I hurt myself a lot. Sorry.
Yeah. Some actors will downplay their early career, their early films, or just kind of eliminate them from their bios. Now, you started out in Nightmare on Elm Street,
yeah,
and then years later you did a cameo in one of the later films.
Yeah, supposedly the final Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have fond memories of that first experience?
Yeah, I do have really fond memories. I mean, it was really exciting, and I felt really. I mean, it was really exciting. It was also, I was shocked at Wes Craven and Annette Benson, the casting director and the director, for taking such a chance on this guy who was totally green. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't have lights and like marks, camera position. I was clueless.
Now, you did your share of appearing, or you were featured on magazines like Tiger Beat and that type of thing. Did you ever enjoy any of that period, or did you want to distance yourself from that as soon as possible?
The minute that started happening, because the minute that started happening, I was scared to death, because I thought, oh my God, it started like, I see the death coming. I can see it coming. I could smell it, and I smell it now. I was. Because I never, I didn't ever do any interviews with those things. It's a strange thing. What they do is they somehow buy portions of interviews that you've done for like newspapers or other magazines, and print it and rewrite it, so it becomes like this weird little fictional story, So Yeah, I was scared to death, so I tried to fight it. I think that Ed Wood was wrongly accused after his death of being, well, actually before his death, he was called the worst director of all time. I disagree. I think that Ed made interesting films. I think Glenda is a masterpiece in some ways. You know, you don't, when you have the idea to superimpose Bela Lugosi over some stampeding buffalo while he's screaming, "Pull the string," to me, that is inspirational stuff.
Ed Wood's widow is still living, and I wonder whether or not you have any idea of her reaction to the project, or if she has seen the film, her reaction to the film.
Well, I haven't spoken to Kathy in a while, but from what I've heard, people involved with the film have told me that she saw it and liked it, which actually makes everybody feel really good, But I plan on calling her and finding out what she really thought. It was strange because she came on the set. She just showed up on the set one day. I think she was at a bus stop or something, and was in the neighborhood and saw signs that said Ed Wood with arrows pointing to the set, and she came by, and I was in complete drag, and she didn't bat an eye. She didn't blink. She actually said, "You look so much like Eddie." She was really sweet to me and very supportive. So I kind of approached the subject gingerly. She's a pretty sensitive woman, and she helped me out a lot with things like, what would Ed have done in the situation? How did he like to relax? What was his drink of choice? What kind of cigarettes did he smoke? Did he smoke a lot? Just details. And I was even more shocked when she came on the set another day and she brought me a present. She gave me his wallet, and it had his phone book in it. It had little notes in it and cards, and social security card, and I was blown away by that. It was such a beautiful gesture.
She gave it to you to keep?
Yeah. And I said, no, I kept telling her, I said, no, I said, why don't I just use it for the film, I'll carry it with me in the film, and then I'll just give it back to you at the end. She said, no, I think that Eddie would want you to have it, and so sweet and so supportive. I never expected anything like that.
So that'll certainly be among your treasured things,
Oh,
won't
yeah.
it? Won't it?
Good night, man. Thank you. Walking in the cold, man.
Hey, it's my job, man.
What is that, man? It's kind of bright, bro.
Video camera.
Take it up his face, man. Don't let him get his fucking home.
We'll put it in the magazines for you.
What magazines are those?
I work for 25 magazines around the world.
Hey, I bet they're all wrapped in words now. Oh, some story about that. All right, you let us go now. You got enough pictures?
Yeah.
100 Salisbury, War Child, PO Box 100 Salisbury. What do you keep giggling at? What do you keep giggling at?
Like Dan's underwear.
Sean, actually, that's all he's got. Poor Sean. He doesn't get out of bed for less than £52. It's true about Sean. Now, we've talked about the War Child, and as we've got you here, Johnny, we'll just have a little matter with you, if we may. The whole Johnny Depp scenario, this whole obsession that women are supposed to be falling at your feet wherever you go, but no matter where you two go, you're followed by the paparazzi. How does it feel being this idol, this created sort of Johnny Depp thing of Kate Moss?
I don't really know anything about that stuff. I don't
Does it happen?
Which part?
Well, everyone following the paparazzi.
Yeah, they're pretty good, you know. They could, yeah, they're very similar to mosquitoes, you know.
How do you feel when they're following you in every single thing you do?
Well, subtlety is right out the window. That's the first thing. I mean, there's about 1,000 flash bulbs going off. I mean, it kind of.
So is the image true? The Johnny Depp image that we read about in
I don't
papers?
know. I don't know of any image.
And how about the studio? I mean, does it frustrate you with your relationship that it's so public because they're following all the time?
No, because they don't really know anything. They just presume. They've all these thoughts that make, you know, all these allegations.
It makes for very good fiction. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
They write some really interesting stories.
Did they ever actually ask you though? Because you were saying earlier with Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi's on the front page of the Star today saying she's marrying Prince Albert, and I said nobody actually rings up to say, are you going to marry Prince Albert before they print the story? They just go ahead and do it. It makes good news, I suppose.
Actually, I'm going to marry Prince Albert.
You're marrying Prince Albert, exclusive here on the Big Breakfast.
I'm going to marry him in Cannes.
Do you two then, is it hard for your relationship?
In Cannes.
You're going to marry Prince Albert in Cannes?
In Cannes.
So you're not marrying Kate Moss now, you're marrying Prince Albert. Does it make it harder though to keep a relationship going when it's in the public eye?
No. Johnny? No.
You went to that Sinatra thing last night? I got invited to that and I couldn't go. We were in Las Vegas. Was it fun?
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah?
It was really great.
Meet a lot of the...
I met Don Rickles.
No. How was Rickles? Was he all right?
It was very exciting, you know.
Yeah,
He was a good guy.
Was it fun meeting him?
Yeah.
Now, was he giving you a hard time?
I was waiting for him to insult me, but...
Was he familiar with your work?
Apparently, yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, that's pretty good.
So.
Well, Rickles knows who you are.
It was really nice, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty broad base. When you got Rickles in there, you know, that's good. This was the Sinatra's, of course, 80th anniversary. Did you meet
his 80th
Sinatra?
birthday.
Did you meet Mr. Sinatra?
No, I just watched. Just looked at him.
Stand back
Yeah.
and get the whole thing. Yeah.
Stood very far away.
You can play a young Sinatra. I think you can pull that off.
Old,
when he was, in the early years.
Old black eyes.
Yeah, well, be a little tricky.
I was lucky enough to or cursed enough to have spent a good three or so months with Hunter Thompson, you know, prior to filming. So he was just a wealth of information. He was a great source of information. He was incredibly generous with his time, with his private life. You know, he let me move into his basement, become a termite, you know, in all his, his great works. So yeah, really, it's due to Hunter's generosity and allowing me to absorb as much of him as I could. The basement, I'll tell you, I was living in the basement for about 5 days or 6 days when I discovered, you know, I have a tendency to smoke cigarettes, and it wasn't until about 5 or 6 days after I'd been living in the basement that I discovered a huge keg of gunpowder about 5 feet away from me. So I stopped smoking in the basement.
She's everything. The baby is everything. It's so amazing, my little family. It's just so, it's unbelievable. It's I don't know. It's the only thing that's ever happened to me. Really, the only thing. Everything else is smoke. This is it. This is real life.
Did you see the birth?
I was there. Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, I've been, since May 27th, when my daughter was born, I've been floating. I smile constantly, which I never did before.
And you never imagined you would have it this kind of...
No, you can never... Everybody tells you, and you know what their experience, and it's going to be something, sublime, but no, you just don't. You can't imagine until it actually happens. When you see this little angel arrive, it's
very unique, unusual character. Thanks. How did you put him together? He's not the usual pirate. How did you put him together?
Well, I started thinking about pirates in the 18th century, and how they were kind of the rock and roll stars of that era. And I thought, who's the greatest rock and roll star of all time? The coolest, And for me, it was Keith Richards, hands down. So I kind of took that inspiration of Keith, you know, and it wasn't like a character study or an imitation or anything like that, but just a more like, you know, a memory of how he is, the way he behaves. It kind of, there's a grace, you know, an elegance, wit, and wisdom that he has that I admire. So there was that, and then there was a cartoon character that I loved very much as a kid named Pepe Le Pew, who was a skunk who basically had blinders on and only saw his own reality. You know, could never see the horrors around him and didn't care. You know, so there was that, and then I don't know. I always saw this guy as like this organism, you know, this constantly changing, moving organism that would change shape to fit a situation in order to benefit himself.
Johnny, how did the filming go today?
Well, I wasn't fired.
We're going to move along. Thanks very
I
much.
still have a job, but they'll fire me tomorrow.
Good to hear.
We're going to move along. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise. Thank you.
How do you do?
Yeah, good.
How are you?
Good to see you.
How do you do?
When filming resumes, fans will have another time. Fans will have another time. Hey, that's Johnny Depp.
Hello. Hello. Very nice to meet you guys.
Who's in the creative arts, especially a writer, I mean a creator. Your best friend in the world is your imagination and the ability to create. And your worst enemy is your imagination. You're plagued by too much thought and too much information, too much stuff going on in your head. But at the same time, that's your bread and butter, isn't it? So, yeah, rough gig. It was tricky, you know, in a sense, because, you know, initially you start thinking it is a very large pair of shoes to fill. So you start worrying about that, and you go, well, why don't I just make another pair of shoes, you know? Just go outside of what Wilder did and still salute what he did and appreciate what he did, but just try to take it somewhere else.
So what was the most important thing for you to get across playing this guy?
Well, just to, as I said, you know, like for those of us who grew up at that time and know the film so well, that early Wilder film, the 71 film, every time a memory came up of that version of Wonka, I just, you know, veer left radically, you know. And also at the same time, we were working so closely with what Roald Dahl had written in the book. You know, we really were faithful to that. And I felt a kind of a deep sense of responsibility to Roald Dahl and his intent. So that was very important to me.
In my humble opinion, there's no better collaboration than you and Tim Burton. Hats off. You guys should make all your movies together.
Oh, wow. Tell him that.
I have told him that.
Good,
honest to God, you're just my favorite pairing. And I just want to know, what is it? What's the secret? Why does it work so well with the two of you?
Well, I mean, first, with Tim, you know, just Tim alone, I mean, even though he's someone we've been working together since, about 16 years now. He's an old pal, but at the same time, he's a filmmaker that I admire and am like astounded by his ability. You know, I mean, what he's capable of is just astonishing. I don't know what it is. There's a strange shorthand language, you know, that somehow works. I think it has to do with understanding, sort of similar understanding of what things that we consider absurd, you know, growing up.
Yeah. Don't you think him and Roald Dahl, if he was still alive, they would be best friends?
I think that there couldn't be a better combination of, you know, author and filmmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
All right, a little teeth check here. I remember the last time, every single time I've interviewed for this, you've had like gold.
No, they're gone, man. Yeah.
You miss it a little bit?
No, not really. I mean, I never really thought about it, you know. No, now I've got sort of Sweeney teeth, Sweeney Todd teeth.
What is Sweeney Todd teeth?
Just mine.
Oh.
Just normal.
Nothing bad.
No.
Do you miss this character after you get done playing it?
Oh yeah. Well, you end up missing all of them. You know, certainly with Captain Jack, I spent more time with him than any of the others. So yeah, I do miss him. I still miss him.
What is it about it that you just love deeply?
Well, playing.
And is it your favorite? Can you actually state that it's your favorite character to play?
Well, he's certainly up there. He's definitely one of my favorite characters to play. I'll say because Captain Jack, there's a safety. There's a kind of you feel safe playing that character because you can virtually get away with almost anything. In the day.
You want to reveal a little bit of you just go around?
No, I mean I don't mean that in a kind of perverse way.
No, not perverse, but I'm just saying.
But I mean he can sort of say anything. You feel like he can say anything and do anything without getting in too much trouble for it.
Do you ad-lib a little bit?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of ad-libs. Yeah. Oh yeah, it has to be, sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking for the DVD release here.
Johnny Depp is here along with director Tim Burton. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
So the clip is running and you're kind of cringing. Why?
That's called cringing.
Scared. Because you've never sung in a movie before. And this is a big deal.
Yeah. There's that too. Yeah.
There is that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie that musical that people have been waiting to be made into a movie. A certain amount of pressure for something like that.
More on him than anyone.
Well, I didn't have to sing, so.
This is from Helen, Middlesbrough, England. What's the strangest thing that I have ever asked you to do for a movie?
Wow.
I think I could answer that one.
How much time do you have, Helen? Because this is a very long list here. There was a morning that I arrived on set of Sleepy Hollow, and Tim showed me he called me to set and said that this is what we're going to be doing for the next few days, and there were two very large horses, and there was a part of a carriage sort of left strapped attached to the horses. And I was going to be holding on to that, being dragged through the muck and other stuff for the next 2 days.
And the horse had some bad gastro problems as well, which probably didn't help very much.
I think those horses were fond of curry.
I could still smell.
Yeah. Sort of the initial key to finding John Dillinger for me was making a connection with my grandfather, who I worshipped when I was a kid, and learning that he drove a bus in the daytime, and then at night he ran, moonshine into dry counties.
So is your 2009 version to be a grower of fine wines?
No, France won't let me grow fine wines.
They won't?
No.
Is it just bad wine?
They're very protective of their grapes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't grow grapes, yeah.
So you can't grow grapes?
I'll just drink their wines.
Which is kind of the same thing. It's enjoyable without all the hard work.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which, quite frankly, sounds great to us. Recently, there was an article in Vanity Fair. You invited a journalist to your island to come out on your boat.
Yeah.
We aren't doing much in a couple of weeks' time.
Can we go?
Is there any chance we could come and visit you?
You might be doing quite a bit in a couple of
I
weeks.
might be a little bit busy, but I'm prepared to hire a nanny.
It's clearly a stunning place, and it means an awful lot to you.
Yeah.
Is there sort of an acceptance from your perspective now that you're quite happy for people to see something that is very private?
Well, the journalist Doug Brinkley is an old friend. I knew we've known each other for a long time through Hunter S. Thompson. He was very close with Hunter, and we decided, let's have an adventure, and if you want to document the adventure, that's great, And if it was for Vanity Fair or just for us or whatever, that's fine. So be it. And the island is, well, the island is normalcy, really. It's total simplicity. There's no lenses. There's no one,
That must be good.
looking at you, pointing at you, and I mean, it's an opportunity to just play on the beach with my kids and hang out where no one, photographs it. I mean, I take my kids to school and it's photographed, it's documented. So that's, so
we need that element of, simplicity.
He will tell you, and he's about to tell you, I don't dance. But you dance.
You know, I mean, I don't. But
You see?
I don't.
Good, good.
Almost to lunch, man. I'm not gonna hold you too
Almost to lunch?
Almost.
Was it almost lunch? Is it?
I should have said it. Now your stomach gonna start talking.
Where you from?
I was born in New York, raised in Atlanta, now I live in LA. Name of my outlet is Black Tree Media.
Oh, cool.
All right,
cool,
ready?
Cool. I spent some time in Atlanta a long time ago.
Yeah, I heard you're from Kentucky, so
Yeah. Yeah,
dirty
yeah.
South right there.
Yeah.
Well, over here with one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Johnny Depp.
Who? Where? Where?
A great actor, man. I mean, honestly, I've been trying to catch up with you since 21 Jump Street, so
Wow.
so I've been a fan for a while.
Oh, bless you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I guess in this movie, The Tourist, I felt most like you because I mean I'm here, I'm speaking Spanish when I should be saying French or Italian.
Yeah.
And I mean I really identify with that. Why do you think Americans sometimes could be like such bad tourists?
Well, you find yourself in a panicked situation, flustered, whatever, you're supposed to be speaking Italian or French or something like that, and the closest thing comes out, Spanish. It's just why I added that bit, in the film. Just the idea that this guy he's way out of his element. He's way outside. He's gotta sort of pull it back together, but he can't. He just can't. Every step of the way, it's just deeper and deeper into some nasty.
You don't do many things like this. So why do you not like to be interviewed, or?
No, I'm just not very good at it. Never have been very good at it.
Why not?
I don't know. There's a strange thing. I'm okay when I'm a character. If I'm playing a character, I can do virtually anything in front of a camera. But if I'm just me, I feel exposed. And sort of, it feels awkward.
We won't expose you.
Okay.
Do you like being other people?
Yeah, I do. I do because I'm fascinated with people. I mean, I'm fascinated. I like to watch people, and that's the one sort of thing, as an actor, in terms of job necessity, is the ability to be able to watch people, to observe, to be the observer. As a journalist, to observe, and it's one of my favorite things to sort of pick apart, various traits.
Marlon Brando told me that one of the problems is when you get very well known, is they're observing you.
That becomes
so you can't. You're not observing them really.
Yeah, exactly. No, that becomes the problem. You become the focus of others, so therefore your ability to observe is tainted. It's a little bit. It changes quite radically.
Well, you look great, you look youthful, and more importantly, you look cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And being 50, it's supposed to be a landmark, but having gone through that myself, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? Does it mean anything to you?
Absolutely nothing, no.
Yeah.
No, it's just another decade gone by.
Right.
The only, maybe the thing that one can look forward to when you reach 50 is a future that's slightly more irresponsible.
More irresponsible?
More irresponsible.
People will allow you that because you're older?
Well, they accommodate the elderly at times, No one say, one day I'll be able to wear my pants up to here.
Well. Are you a little bit shy, you think? Or?
I'm very shy.
You are?
Yeah, no. If I can be accused of anything at all, I'm not the most outgoing and boisterous of people.
On to adventures. You go from one adventure to another adventure. What's the last adventure you've been on recently?
Christ, we're boring.
God, we're really boring.
We said we have nothing to say.
Went through the
We are
desert
bored.
without any shoes.
Oh yeah, no, I went to Dubai. I went to Dubai with my son, and we were in the desert, and we were on a camel, and then by the afternoon we were skiing because they have an indoor ski mountain in the middle of the desert because it's Dubai and they do really mad things, and you really realize the world is in deep trouble.
Deep caca.
It's in deep caca because it takes a lot of energy to keep that mountain cold, that snow cold.
That's true. I'll say my most recent adventure that I've had. I went to a 7-Eleven for the first time in about 25 years.
I know this.
I did, and I can't tell you how great it felt.
What did you buy?
Everything. No, you gotta get donuts there. You gotta get a Slurpee there. You gotta get trash.
To me, the people who were waiting outside, who were dedicated and nice enough and kind enough to wait for such a long time, just to say hello and welcome you to Italy while you're supporting a film. Those people outside, I've never liked the term fans, I just, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. But I consider those people essentially our employers, they're the boss, because they're the ones who go to the cinemas, they're the ones who spend their money, their hard-earned money, to go and escape for 2 hours or whatever, to watch a film. So, yeah, it's a very warm feeling always. It's a very, it's always very touching to receive that kind of a welcome. So yeah, I thank my bosses.
See your hand.
What have you done?
Terribly sorry. You just I just said I'm sorry to a microphone. I have to go.
Hey fam, rather than do a rant, considering I think that Howard Stern only knows how to get attention by behaving like a douche. No one needs a douche, so figured I would just let Monsieur Depp do his own thing. And yeah, until next time and beyond, please take care. I'm trying as well.